The controversial central bank bond issue has once again been raised for discussion. Experts say that the process followed on the bond issue is in fact extremely disappointing.
Although Arjuna Mahendran was not given a new contract as the governor of the central bank, the fact remains that on the first bond, approximately 1.8 billion to 2.5 billion was lost. On the second bond, which was done about a year later, 2.7 billion was lost. We have the Auditor General's report confirming the losses on the first bond. We also have a situation which is really anomalous, in which, in spite of these actions of the governor of the central bank, it later transpires that the governor of the central bank at the time, Mr. Mahendran, said that he was acting on the instructions received by the Prime Minister, Ranil Wickremesinghe. And in spite of these matters which cost the country and its people so much of money, today we have a situation where Arjuna Mahendran is an advisor to the Prime Minister and is said to be heading an agency coming under the Prime Minister's ministries. This is an unacceptable situation.
The Employee Provident Fund was a victim of the fraudulent bond scam which took place recently, because when the money in the EPF was invested in bonds and bills. But the Employee Provident Fund can directly derive the investments from the bond market, debentures market and treasuries bill. Such things took place, but during former Governor Arjuna Mahendran's tenure, the investments made through the loans obtained from the Employees Provident Fund was aided by the secondary market and not from the primary market. The senior deputy governor who is connected to this, Mr. Samarasiri, is still within the CBSL. He is still providing his services as the advisor to the EPF. Until those people are holding those positions, we will not be able to find out the truth or take legal action. It isn't enough that the governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka was sent somewhere else. All officials involved in these transactions should be punished. There should be intervention to rectify the fraud that took place. The primary task of the present governor is to protect the EPF, which belongs to the working people of this country.
When we look at this entire thing, there is some very strong obstinacy by those in authority that due to some preventive action, some circumventive action, no conclusive decision is taken on this matter. It involves wrong practices, hitherto unprecedented in the field, which warranted investigation, not only investigation, punishments to be meted out to those people who were responsible. But unfortunately, the governor of the central bank, who was alleged to have been responsible for this state of affairs, continued in his position till the last day. After leaving the position, he is appointed to various other important positions in this country, while the investigations against the allegations levelled against him are still pending.
24th of February 2015. The Public Debt Department decides to call for a bond issue of 1 billion rupees for a period of 30 years. 26th February 2015. Urgent meeting with the participation of Ministers Ravi Karunanayaka, Kabir Hashim, Governor of the Central Bank Arjuna Mahendran and other officials regarding the additional financial requirement for the payment of highway contractors. Incidentally, the chairman of the United National Party, Malik Samar Vikrama, who was not an MP nor a minister, was present at this meeting. 27th February 2015, the first bond transaction after the appointment of the new governor takes place. 8th March 2015, details of the controversial CBSL bond issue comes to light. 9th March 2015, President intervenes and orders that a committee be appointed to inquire into alleged losses caused by the February 27th bond issue. March 10th, 2015. A three-member committee appointed by the Prime Minister, names of Gamini Pitmina, Mahesh Kalugampitia and Chandimal Mendis, announced as committee members, all of whom have strong affiliations with the UNP. On the very same day, Newsfirst exposed the ownership of perpetual treasuries by Perpetual Holdings, of which Arjun Aloysius, who is the son-in-law of the Governor of the Central Bank, Arjuna Mahendran, is a significant shareholder. 11th March 2015. On the very next day, opposition lodges complained at the Bribery Commission seeking investigations into the alleged bond scam. 13th March 2015. UNP Chairman Malik Samaravikrama confirms he was present at the meeting held on the 26th of February to discuss state funding requirements. He tells News First he attended the meeting as an advisor to the Prime Minister. 16th March 2015. The Governor of the Central Bank accepts failure to communicate to primary dealers the Central Bank's intention to raise more funds through the bond issue.
I will take responsibility for the fact that we should have advertised 10 billion, but we didn't have that information in time.
17th March 2015. Prime Minister makes statement in Parliament on alleged bond scam. Announces that Arjuna Mahendran is on leave. 29th March 2016. A year after the first bond scam was reported, another controversial bond issue takes place. 6 June 2016. Committee on Public Enterprise informs the Auditor General to carry out investigations regarding the matter. 20th June 2016. Former Chairman of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce exposes the loss made in the second bond transaction to the public.
This time we are working on leaked information. We don't have a formal thing. Based on the leaked information, we believe that of this issue that was made on the 29th, the primary dealer in question got 26 billion, as he said. And the important thing is EPF got only 2.5.
Who is this primary dealer, Mr.
Perpetual treasuries. Okay, say 14.7%, let us say, was 13.7, let us say, or 14.7 in some cases that the perpetual treasuries got. If they kept a 1% margin and sold those bonds back to EPF, on that basis, we are assuming EPF or ETF or to the insurance corporation, any one of the state, NSB or Bank of Ceylon or anybody like that, if they sold, just 1% amounts to 2.7 billion.
19 June 2016. Prime Minister informs that Arjuna Mahendran will not be reappointed until investigations into him are completed by COAP. 29th June 2016. President says a new governor will be appointed. 30th June 2016. President appoints Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy as new governor of the Central Bank. 4th July. New governor of the Central Bank takes oaths before President Maithripala Sirisena, promising to uphold the integrity of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. In an article published on The Island with the heading "Mahendran ignored public debt department warnings, went ahead with bond sales," officials tell COAP it was highlighted, quoting a senior member of COAP. A group of central bank officials yesterday had informed the Committee on Public Enterprises that Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran had claimed he acted on the instructions of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe with regard to the controversial bond issue.
After being refused a renewal at the central bank, Arjuna Mahendran attended all high-level discussions during the Prime Minister's tour of Indonesia as well as the Prime Minister's tour of Singapore, at a time when investigations into him are carried out by the COAP.
The former governor of the central bank, Mr. Arjuna Mahendran, has been appointed to a committee to tackle Brexit issues affecting the Sri Lankan economy, which is convened by Charita Ratwatar, senior advisor to the Prime Minister.
But what matters to us today is that there are allegations against him, allegations against the central bank, and none of these allegations have been probed into it so far, and without probing into those allegations, if you try to have his services available to the government has lost its credibility. So that is where it stands today.
Question 2 is very simple, Dr. Vijayawardena. Why is it that the Prime Minister decides to go ahead with a man that the President rejected?
That is where I think we are lacking the total the transparency, and also we are losing our own credibility in this respect, because if there has been an allegation against any person, it has to be in fact investigated by an appropriate tribunal, and without getting a tribunal to do that, we simply took him away from the central bank, and we are now appointing him to another position of the government, which doesn't do well for the current government, which has come to power with the promise of introducing transparency, good governance, good economic policy governance, and so forth.